And after saying all that stuff, I turned to him and I was like, hey, man, I'm sorry for talking all that shit. You know, I apologize to you. And then he just so smugly turns to me and he goes, I do not accept your apology. And I was just, and in my head, I was like, all right, that's the last olive branch. And I just kind of like smiled and kind of got excited about it. I was like, he doesn't know what's coming. he doesn't know. The following Thursday at open mic, we all sign up. I sign up right after him. He goes up, does his set. It's Wes. Yeah. I go up. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cameron Smith. I go up there like, yeah, give it up for your host, Zach, everybody. Yeah, and give it up for Wes, who you just saw. Yeah, you guys know you're clapping for a literal child. And I spent my whole 4 minutes just asserting this is not a joke. Wes child. It was actually it was a baby, to be specific. Star News. Oh my God. We tried to get an article printed in Star News about it, but I guess Wes has friends in high places. They pulled it away. I'm not doing comedy. Oh my God. Dude, no one was laughing. The room was so uncomfortable. Oh my God. So since then, it was like he's barely been able to look at me since then, and I wouldn't. I would have a hard time forgiving me for that too. Yeah. I don't think. There was a golden era of Dead Crow that I think was between 2014 and I want to say it extends to 2018, but I think like it kind of the best part of that era, like 2014 is like when it started at its lowest and then it went up, and then I think 2015, 16 were when it was the best and the most fun, and then 17, 18 it started to decline again, and then by 19 I hated it, and I wouldn't say I hated it, but to me the open mic at that point was a horrible show.
Oh, it was bad.
And like, you know, it used to be an open mic that, you know, there were people lining up outside the stairs to get in. It was packed out. And now they're suddenly getting upset with me for walking people because barely anyone was there.
Yeah.
But they weren't getting upset with people that were the comics that were walking people because they were being boring. They were just upset with me because I was being offensive. That really pissed me off.
I remember those days, dude.
And I mean, that's my whole problem with stand-up is that, you know, all of us comedians, we're all trying shit.
Yeah.
And you don't know how it's going to go until you do it with which audience and the way that you're trying to do it. And we all risk bombing. We all do bomb in getting better. But the difference is a lot of comedians, when they're trying things, when they bomb, it's because the material was boring to the crowd. And so you have this very banal kind of bomb where people are just silent.
Yeah.
They're just not laughing. Yeah. Right? That sucks. But when the comedian gets off stage, no booker or showrunner or venue owner is going up to that comedian and going like, hey, man, that was really fucked up and all your fault, and you did that on purpose. You're not welcome back here.
No.
I don't trust you to book you on. Where with me, you know, I can do a one bit that is incredibly offensive and crushes in one room, and then the booker, venue owner love me for it. Like, that was an insane risk, and it paid off. You're so good at this.
Yeah.
Come back anytime. Go to a different venue, do the same exact joke, tell it better. The crowd hates me for it, and they're offended. And then the you know, booker and show owner or whatever are like you did that on purpose.
You wanted to hate fuck the room,
right? Yeah. I'm like, no, dude. I have no. Why would I intentionally burn a room down? Now, obviously, when I'm bombing like that, there's two ways to react. Like, I can understand why it might seem intentional because the way that I handle a bomb like that. Yeah. Because, you know, I think what they would prefer I do is when I try some risky stuff and the audience isn't there for it, I kind of puss out and I go, "Oh, I'm sorry."
It's like, I get what you, I get it. Like you just,
Oh, I didn't mean to take it too far.
Stay with your tail between your legs. Yeah.
Here's some nicer jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I'm really sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to talk about school shootings.
Yeah.
You know, I don't actually think they're funny. I was just joking.
Yeah.
But what I end up doing is I'll do something horrible and I'll see they're not there for it, and then I'll be like, I'll kind of fuck with them. I'll be like, oh, okay, well, if you don't love that joke, you're gonna really love this one, and then I'll tell one way worse, and then get people really.
I remember, dude, your 9/11 material.
Yeah,
it's classic.
Well, that's a perfect example. Yeah. Like my 9/11 Shrek joke.
Oh, it's classic.
Well, that's a perfect one. That's such a controversial joke because, I mean, I don't know how many times you saw me do it, but
I've seen a good amount of times.
Have you seen it go well?
It's been shifty.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I know the place where it didn't work. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I know the place where it didn't work, and I know the place it worked. And the place where it worked, I was like, I'm surprised it worked.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's not because of, your way of telling the joke. It's, the clientele of that place.
Right. Well, so that 9/11 joke's a really interesting one because the first time I told it was when I was in LA, and I did it at the Liquid Zoo open mic in
Where's that at?
It was in the Valley.
Oh.
I can't remember exactly which part of. I don't even want to say which part of the Valley because I'm not entirely sure. I got so mixed up there. I mean, it might have been like Encino.
Yeah. You meet Callahan Welsh by any chance? He goes out there a little bit.
But like I had struggled so much at those LA open mics because it seemed like just no one laughed at anything.
Yeah.
Everyone was just like pissed to be alive in LA at those open mics. And so I remember just trying that bit out and doing that punch or that one punchline. It was like, the fact that Shrek and 9/11 came out in the same year is just proof that God giveth and God taketh away. Huge laugh at the end. And I walked off and I was like, oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Great.
And so I was like, I know I have something good here if I can make this room that never laughs at anything bust out laughing. And so then when I came back into Wilmington and I tried it a few times and I polished it and it became this much longer bit with a lot more jokes inside it. And I would do it at the Bar Czar and just
my God.
I burned the room down. They loved it.
Bar Czar's the place for that.
Yes, they were rolling around laughing so hard. And then I would do it on some showcases. In one room they would fucking and then in another room like half the people some people are laughing, otherwise maybe the reaction wasn't that they were offended, it was more like they were bored. They just didn't find it that funny. And then I started having these interactions where like ex-military or ex-firefighter, ex-police officer people would come up to me after the show and be like one was in this room in Hampstead that Tim Griffin runs, and this guy came up, he was kind of drunk, he's like, hey man, like I'm not mad at you or nothing, I'm ex-military, and you just got to be careful telling jokes like that because there might be some guys like me that don't find it funny, might like really give you a rough time about it. And then he just kept going on about it and kept telling me maybe reconsider doing jokes about that subject. And I was like, yeah, man. I mean, there's just kind of joke about everything. Yeah. And then he walked away. And then apparently another military guy came up to me after that. He was like, I don't understand the military hierarchy. He was like, that guy's really low ranking and I'm much higher ranking. Keep doing that joke. It's fucking great. Yeah. And it's like, we fight so that you can do this kind of stuff.
That's good.
And I was like, okay, hell yeah. But another instance was I did Lou Morganti's show at Waterline, and I did this joke, and there was an ex-New York cop.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Were you there for that?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Exactly. So that set was a decent set.
It was a good set,
and then I closed with that joke, and then suddenly this drama happened because he was like, it's not funny if you're an ex-New York cop like I am. And then I kind of froze up, and I knew because Lou is kind of on my ass. Like I know Lou, if I do anything to make it even seem like I'm intentionally burning down the room, he's gonna be on me. So like every show I did at Waterline when I did it that year, I made sure that I was doing my jokes, but I would pull back as appropriately as possible. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm on this last joke, and I tried to engage with this audience member in a way that wasn't like fuck you and like really disrespecting him, like I would probably at an open mic. Like,
Showcase Cameron is way different than open mic Cameron.
Well, because in that situation, it might be something like, hey, I'm an ex-New York cop. You know, it's not funny if you have ties to
Staten Island. Probably.
There was someone that at some show I did. It was like, I have family that died in 9/11. That's not funny. And I was just like, I have family that died in 9/11 too. I was like, I mean, they were the ones who crashed the plane into the building. So it's a little nuanced difference there. But anyway, so I tried my best to handle that situation, and the set ended poorly. And you know, Lou told me he was fine with me in the moment, but I come to find out Lou will not book me back in that room because of this. And like, he believes I do that on purpose. He doesn't like, I don't think he believes me that joke has worked a lot more than it has bombed.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I don't, you know, I'm in this place with folks like him and, even Amy to some degree where like, I think I'm wasting my time and energy trying to convince them that I'm not that way. They're just convinced. That's their perception of me, and I just have to accept the fact I don't get to work with them. Like I don't get to do paid shows at Dead Crow. I don't get to do Lou's show and any other comic that's booking shows that thinks this about me. Yeah. I feel like I have been wasting my energy and getting unnecessarily anxious and worried about what these people think of me when there's no changing it. It's just people that don't like me, and I have to treat them like that. As audience members that don't like me, it's like they're just not my crowd. Yeah, you know, it's just unfortunate when it's like people that you love and like are your friends, and you have to accept the reality that they don't find you that funny, or they just don't trust you. Yeah, that you aren't this Machiavellian burn down the house type person they think you are. Yeah. But here's the really interesting.
Okay, about that bit.
Yeah, about the 9/11 bit. Yeah. This is the best one. So I went to that like biker bar. We were there. You were there. Yeah, this was at do you remember the name of that bar? It was
somewhere in Leland. Somewhere out in.
Was it?
It was like
it was Brad's show.
It was some fucking roadhouse bar.
Yeah, I mean it was way out there. It was backwoods Leland bar with just motorcycler gangs there. And I go up there and I do one. They don't like me very much.
Of course, dude. To be fair, the room's kind of scattered already.
Yeah,
and
it was later in the show.
Still had attentive people there.
Yeah. There were some people that liked me, but for the most part, they didn't, and they really didn't like the 9/11 joke when I did it. But there was the guy who runs the VFW show there, and and I was booked on that show already, so he was watching me do this 9/11 bit. And then he leaned into Hunter Sutton and was like, is this guy booked on the VFW show coming up? And Hunter was like, yeah, he is. And he goes, tell him to bring that 9/11 show. And Hunter told me that, and I did, and they loved it at the VFW.
Oh, yeah.
They loved
VFW is a mixed bag, but I like that venue a lot.
Yeah, well,
it was a fun venue.
It is kind of like the military personnel there that aren't that like real serious about it. Like, you have the freedom to speak freely here, but don't you dare say anything
about the police or firefighters.
Right. But they're more like, nah, do fucking anything. Make fun of us. Make fun of the military industrial complex.
We want it to be about us.
And countrywide tragedy. Yeah. And so that room was super open about me doing fucking anything there.
Yeah. That bar, I've been in a couple places like that. There was a place in Havelock that set up. He promised to pay us, did not. Shit. I shouldn't even mention his name, but can you bleep that out? Yeah. Thank you. Write it down later. Appreciate it. You probably, between you and I, people have promised us pay and have not paid us, right?
It's rare that I've been promised pay and didn't get paid.
Okay.
But also, like...
That's good.
You know, like I know a lot of comics were kind of mad at Dead Crow for a long time for like the opening and feature spots not being paid spots at, the old Dead Crow for like the whole time.
Yeah, now they were getting paid.
And now, the feature spots now like are pretty substantially paying gig. Yeah. And which now that it's paid, I'll never get it. Now that Amy's in charge of who gets to do it.
Oh, shit.
She'd probably let me do it if I could tape 20 minutes
clean. Probably clean.
Cleanish. Like, and clean by her standards. So, like, there's things that I would think are PG-13 or that most people would think are PG-13, but there would be certain jokes that probably would be kind of disparaging to left-leaning political ideology that she wouldn't be cool with. Yeah. Like, for example, my like Uber a fag joke.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah, and it's a really polished joke that like works 90% of the time. It's barely not worked. And so Mary Mack and Tim Harmison came through. Yeah, I love them, and they recognized me from the festival that we met several years ago, and they were like, "Do you want to go up? Do you want to go up?" And I was like, let me check with Amy, see if like she'll let me." And they're like, "It's just a 5-minute guest spot," and they asked, and she's like, "All right, go ahead." And so I did it. And it wasn't a big crowd, it was a small crowd. And I did my set, 5 minutes. I did that Uber a fag joke, and it went really well. And I got off. And then Amy tells me later, she's like, "Hey, that was good, but don't do that joke where you say fag. You can't say that word." She's like, "I know that went well, but just don't do that." And so it's like shit like that makes me go,
I can't believe I started.
That's tame for me. Like, what do I even have? Like, if my tame stuff isn't even...
Is Jack even getting spots anymore?
I haven't seen Jack come around in a while. Also, I'm pretty sure Jack hates me.
That sucks.
It does suck, because I've always liked him. Yeah. But
he's a diehard communist, so he can fucking stand in the breadlines.
It probably has to do with, me liking Jordan Peterson. Yeah. That probably has made him hate me. Yeah. Also, I think, like, the whole thing that happened between me and Wes, I think that he's... likes Wes more than me is maybe part of it.
With you and Wes?
Also, like Julia Desmond, I think I burned that bridge.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah. I know exactly. You did it like did a great, I don't know if it's an impression or a great bit before I heard about this bit.
What'd you hear?
It was through fucking Bird.
Through Bird?
Through Mike Bird.
Oh, through Mike Bird.
A little birdie told me. This is not little. But.
It was about the vape pen thing?
The vape pen thing and professing your love to Julia.
Oh. Well, the love thing's definitely a joke.
Yeah,
I think.
Dude, it's just a shame that.
Oh yeah, I did that on stage.
Yeah.
But I've also done that bit to her face before. Like there was one time when like the Lucky Joe open mic was going.
Oh my god! Oh shit!
Yeah,
all right,
I think I was in the car with her, Matt Coughlin, and Joe Lefevre, and me and Julia were
both
in the back
of them have crushes on them. Yeah,
and so I was just like sitting in the back with her. I was like, "Julia, I just want to tell you, I love you." No, like I'm in love with you.
You look in the camera and say that,
Julia, if you're listening, Julia Desmond, I miss you. I love you so much. Please call me. I'm really sorry I've been so cold.
Buy one of her t-shirts, dude. That's what you can do.
I actually would. I think they're not.
They're pretty cool.
I like the style.
I bought one.
Use that clip to promote the podcast.
Please do. Oh man. So,
but to be real about all these people, like just to go on record, I don't like having enemies, and I don't hate any of them.
Yeah,
it's just like the way I react is like I feel like I am by default cool with everyone. Yeah, but as soon as you start saying or behaving in a way that gives me the idea that you don't like me or hate me or you're mad at me about something, well, it doesn't make me hate you, but it makes me be like, don't be like fake nice to me. Like if you don't like me, then let's just leave each other alone, I guess.
Yeah. Like if I was with a group of people, I wouldn't try to exclude Cameron or I wouldn't try to exclude Arturo from a conversation. Like, oh, this is my friend Arturo, this is my friend whoever. Like if I'm like this, that's real inclusivity to me. You know?
Yeah. Well, that is the thing about the whole inclusivity thing that's so ironic because like they these fucking leftist communists.
Oh man, I really got you on your fucking.
You're ready to get radicalized, Jew Anoners. We're about to go down a right-wing conspiracy rabbit hole. No, but the inclusivity thing, it's like is only about the gender identity, the sexual orientation, and the racial ethnic identity. And of course, with the racial and ethnic, and I mean, I guess all of them, there's this hierarchy of those who should be respected and those who have historically had too much respect. and too much power. So now we need to intentionally put them at the bottom. And to me, I think you're doing the opposite of what the whole thing is built for. But the inclusivity thing and like the whole idea of tolerance.
Yeah.
Real radical tolerance is being able to tolerate intolerance. It doesn't mean that you
tolerate
have
a conversation with somebody.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you have to agree with what is deemed intolerant, right? But I do think it would be a smart and better thing to be able to have a conversation with someone where you have a healthy disagreement. Like imagine, think about that guy. Well, I can't remember his name, but the big black guy that went around and talked to people in the Klan and had these long conversations.
Oh, Gerald Davis.
Yeah. Dude. And then would convince them to exit.
I saw him at UNCW.
Yeah. Well, imagine doing that with like neo-Nazis.
I want that's what the whole podcast is for.
You want to have
I get in. Yeah. I get people who might hate Jews on, and I'm like, all right. Want to talk to them one for an hour?
That's obviously why I'm here.
Yeah. You're actually supposed to donate money to Israel afterwards.
I do have to say, Harrison, you're not going to get me to budge on this one. I can't stand you Jews.
Oh, furious, dude. Fucking so mad right now.
Almost said the K word. Committing to the bit a little too
you
much.
are, dude. I want to see a really Jewy character from you. I really do.
I don't know if I have it in me to do a really...
Let me be the George Soros to that character, dude. Let me fucking fund it. Whatever supplies you need. Missiles going over the border, do whatever. We should do like a anti-Semitic puppet show.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a great idea. It won't get kicked off the air at all.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Did you listen to a lot of like the Kanye controversy, like the things he was saying in the long form podcast? Yeah. Do you think he had a point?
Here's what I'll say about that, man. Because love Kanye. You know, I'm a big artist fan and shit like that. And, you know, it's very sad what Jews have been perceived or even have done to black recording artists. Very exploitive and all that shit. Like, that's true to an extent. Like, there's guys that have, you know, promoted, you know, rap music or gangster rap music that, you know, promotes violence and all this other shit because it sells, you know? And it's, I don't want my, you know, people to be deemed as exploitive. You know what I mean? We always seem to be the managers or the, you know, the ones that pull the strings, if you will. Well, to me, I look at it as more as a gift to create rather than to manage. And a lot of people go down that route. I've not gone down that route. This is a good question to ask you. Would you have a Jewish manager?
I feel like if I got into the industry, it would almost not be. I would almost be shooting myself in the foot by not having a Jewish manager potentially, and it'd almost be hard to have a good manager who isn't Jewish.
Okay,
I think that would be hard to find. Yeah. Because I mean, like the claim, like here's one thing Kanye's claiming that, to me, I think is statistically factual, but there's people that are saying that this is like a Nazi conspiracy to think this, but that, you know, Jewish people are a minority in this country, but they do make up majority of like the, you know, powers of the media.
We distribute to our own communities. That's why.
Right.
We're just very fucking good at it.
Right. You guys are really good at taking your community and like your religious doctrine and treating the execution of it like it really matters. Yeah. And you know, it's not as easy to become a Jew than it is to become a Christian. Christians want everyone come get in and make it as easy. All you have to do is say I love Jesus and come to church.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, where Jews like, no, you need to go to basically Jew college and study a different language.
Yeah. Thank you for goy-splaining this to me.
Yeah. And
Jew college. Goy-splaining, dude.
Jew-university.
Yeah. It's a good one. But to that point where you say, you know, what was it? There's 3 times you have to go where basically they're like, I want to be a Jew. And they're like, no. They make you think on it. Because, you know, a lot of the tradition is, you know, why am I suffering? Why it's very contemplative. But also like I grew up pretty religious, dude. So like where do I go from this? It's hard to jump into the community But you have to go through like an Orthodox. You have to literally learn a whole new language. Like it is hard.
You got to commit to the bit.
Yeah, you have to commit to this bit, dude.
Being a Jew is nothing but a bit.
Oh my God, that might be that might be a really based fucking philosophy.
Yeah, next time I like run into a Hasidic Jew with all the getup on, I'm like, you're just doing a bit, dude. Be real with me. You're Christian.
Yeah, you're Christian. He was like, no, if his mother was Jewish, dude, he's not committing to the bit.
Like, fuck you, dude. You believe in Jesus.
No, if his mother was Jewish, then he's probably done that, for a while. He's probably had that haircut for a while. Yeah, that was another thing because I had
explaining. I can't believe you said that.
Oh shit!
He sounds so like racial, like but it's like the N-word.
Like
100%. Like I feel like it sounds like the N-word for anybody that's not Jewish. Like it feels so like he wants to start a podcast called Goy Slav.
Yeah, it's a food review. It's gonna be food review, but I feel like I'm giving up too much away. I'm showing my cards to these, fucking people. Before we end. Can you kind of give me a little bit of a sprinkle of what happened between you and Wes? Because I'm still friendly with. I still look at both of you as friends. Like I hope it can be mended. This is a concerned friend saying.
This is one probably won't be mended, but that's because the nature of this feud is, Wes came into the scene when he did, and he was kind of new. And me, I'm kind of standoffish to new people in general because there's constantly people coming into the scene,
of course,
leaving, they don't stick around, whatever. So it's like, you wait to see who sticks around, and also, this about me is I don't.
He got mad at me, by the way.
He
did.
Yeah. Well, I'm not particularly supportive or complimentary to people unless I genuinely mean it.
Yeah.
Like if I probably complimented you, but very rarely.
Rarely, yeah. Like once or twice, and I was like, all right, I'm doing something.
Right. And I think because I don't like just being someone that's just nice and encouraging for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be nice and encouraging when people genuinely like inspire me and we go, that's a fucking great joke. I have to tell him so he knows that that's great. So Wes,
continue.
Yeah, I was just saying Wes has never done that for me, and so I've never really had much of a reason to talk to him. And he's always kind of just been someone who like I'm cool with his existence. I've never found him that funny, and but otherwise he's a nice guy off stage. He's quiet. We don't really talk much. Whatever. He comes to the scene. He's cool. He's cool. And but then there's these little things that would happen. Like, and also I'm a psychopath who
you are.
At one point had one of those fucking apps on my phone that would tell me if someone unfollows me. So early pandemic, I got a notification that Wes unfollowed me, and then I happened to be on one the Brewer's Kettle show, Ellie's show, with Wes, and he was just standing by me, and I just kind of asked, I was like, "Hey, man, I saw you unfollowed me. Why'd you do that?" Because I just think it's funny to do that kind of confrontation. I don't really care, but it's just like, and I usually don't confront everyone that unfollows me. It's just happened to be like, you're right in front of me. This happened recently, and it's like I don't usually have anything to talk about with this guy. This might be funny to be like that. And he seemed to get quite uncomfortable with me asking him that. Didn't really have much of an answer. I think maybe he told me it was because I posted that selfie of me with like a gun in my mouth. He's like, I don't want to see that, dude. And I was like, all right, man. And then months later, no conversation with him really. He follows me again and then messages me like, I'm back. And I'm like, okay, cool. We're cool again, I guess. And so then some more months go by and he unfollows me again.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, well, what the hell did I do this time?
What is going on?
What the hell did I do? Yeah. And it also happened to be around the time that I was having drama with the girl that I wrote that Love Songs album about. And a bunch of our mutual guy friends unfollowed me because of some shit, like some message she sent to a bunch of them, telling them that like I stalked her and manipulated her and threatened to kill her, like none of which is true. But these dudes believed her and like unfollowed me and disassociated themselves from me. And so like he unfollowed me around that time. I was like, wait, does he know her? Is that why?
Pick up Camthology, by the way.
And so I was at Dead Crow and saw him. I was like, hey, I saw you unfollowed me again. And then he like kind of like, I'm not engaging in this. It's like, whatever, dude. You're just gonna have to live with me unfollowing you. And then later I'm in the bathroom and I'm just like kind of paranoid about the whole thing with that girl. And I'm like, is this why? Is it like, do you know her? Are you friends with her? Is that? And he's like, oh no, sorry, I didn't know anything about that. I was like, oh,
first one to give you up to the cops, right there.
Yeah,
that's what. I'm sorry, man. That's snitch behavior.
No. I believed him. I think he was sincere. He didn't.
Okay.
That's not why.
Okay.
And so then, and I know I had a moment with him too, where I showed up to the club high as fuck on like mushrooms, which is rare, very rare. And I was nice to him, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, I don't know what it is, and I know I'm probably not nice to you, but I want you to know I like you. You're a good guy, and I hope that we can be cool." And then he was nice. He's like, "I wish you'd do drugs more." I was like, "It's probably not going to happen, but I understand why you say that." So then, this is where it gets fun. Him and Sean start doing that public access thing where they're doing the panel at Barzar open mic. And Barzar open mic used to be the only open mic where you get, 10 plus minutes to work out shit. Now that's gone.
Oh, no.
Because they are spamming sounds over your set and you can't even find out
to do like
if
a
your
Kill
material
Tony
works.
thing, yeah.
So I'm already mad at them off the bat for doing this. It just happens to be like a crux to me and Sean's friendship too, where he doesn't like me. Wes shares not liking me with him, I assume.
Probably.
And they're both just kind of like extra spamming the sounds on me. And so I'm like, okay, I understand what this is now. I can't come here to do material for real. I can come here and have a good time though. Like fuck with them and the crowd. So then the next time I come back, I think in the first one, I start like yelling, "Shut the fuck up," while I'm doing comedy into the mic. And then I started putting the mic into the speaker and making this loud feedback noise. And then Sean started freaking out. He was like, "Dude, no, what are you doing?" And then I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were just making sound. I thought that this is what the show was now, just sound. And is this not okay? Is this not fair game?" And so then,
oh my gosh.
he was mad about
furious,
that.
dude.
So then I came back the next time as Red Hat Cam. And I started just doing like shit that audience would hate. Ironically, that young college crowd that was coming there to watch like cover bands at the end of the night. I did some really like undeservedly ruthless jokes that night. Like I know as Red Hat came, I went out there. I was like, "Have you guys heard about this Stop Asian Hate thing? How about no? Let's ramp it up." And then I was like, "Yeah, I support trans rights. I like trans people. Sure would like to have me one to put in my kitchen in a kennel like some sort of zoo animal, like just." But ironically, this crowd that hates me and everything I do, they actually were kind of mostly laughing their asses off this, except for these like 3 girls in the front row. They got up and walked out. But otherwise, the room was really.
You don't write any of this shit down.
No, and of course they're spamming sounds through this, but I don't give it. I'm just ignoring it and turning my head and saying "shut the fuck up" every once in a while, and so that there's that, and then I think Wes has to go on after me, and I walk out after me, but I hear that it's very hard, as you know, most people don't like to follow me.
I tried to follow you.
You're someone who tries to follow me.
Yeah, because I really wanted to, win. I always wanted to start myself at the lowest point. Not saying you did, because sometimes you would kill.
Yeah.
So it's.
No, I think whether I do well or whether I do really bad.
Fucking, I'll follow Brian if I had to.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
Probably a hard thing to follow.
Yeah.
It's just it shakes up the energy of the room. Might be in a good way.
Do you think I challenge myself too much?
No. I don't think there's anything wrong with intentionally doing hard things.
You're right.
I think that's good.
That's a good point. All right, continue with this.
So I guess Wes had a hard time up there after following that, and he was mad. And I didn't know that he was mad until like Thursday at the Dead Crow open mic. Him and Colton are talking. I haven't seen Colton in a while. And I go up and I talk to him, and I'm like, "Hey," like I just say hey to Colton, and then Wes kind of throws out, "Oh, you should have seen Cameron had a meltdown at the Barzar open mic the other night." And then I just kind of laughed it off, and I was like, "I don't think Wes knows what a meltdown from me really looks like." And I just told Colton, I was like, I was doing Red Hat Cam, and then Colton was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I understand." And then I don't know, just something about that interaction, like it just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, "Oh," I think Wes asserted, like, "You really ruined the night last night. You really ruined it. You ruined that mic." I was like, "What the fuck is this motherfucker?" And so then I like sat down, got away from the interaction, and it just bothered me. I was like, "All right, dude, I've had these moments where he's like clearly got a problem with me, but when I try to ask him about it, he doesn't communicate." And so I just walked right up to him at the bar. I was like, "Hey man, clearly you have a problem with me. What's the deal?" And then he got all like silent and weird. He was like, "You really don't know?" And I was like, "No, I don't. That's why I'm asking you." He goes, "How old are you?" And I'm like, 27. Might have been 26. I'm 26. And then he just goes, "Huh." And I'm like, Is that too old to use your words to solve problems? How old are you? He goes, 21. And I'm like, "Oh, that explains a lot." And then we walked away from that interaction. And then we're in line for signups. And he, oh God, this story kind of gets long.
We got time, dude. Or
okay.
do we not?
That's fine.
Know. Okay.
So, little backtracking here.
Yeah.
You know my bit where I asked the crowd, "Do you think it's worse to be a racist or a rapist?"
I remember.
And I have them cheer. I go, "Clap if you think it's worse to be a racist. Clap if you think it's worse to be a rapist."
Yeah.
You know. So he's doing this, and I know he's seen me do this bit. So a few open mics before this one that we're having this interaction at, he does this joke. I watch him do it, where he does like, "Do you think it's worse to say faggot retard or retarded faggot?" Clap if you think it's worse to say retarded faggot. Clap if you think it's worse to say faggot retard. And it's like, okay, I don't think you'd be doing this bit if you haven't seen the one I'm doing, because this is like basically the same format. You're having them clap for a thing, two things that aren't good. But anyway, and I watched it, and I decided, I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I don't really care. Yeah. I really don't care. But I had like 3, 4, 5 comics over the following week like, "Did you see him do that joke? That's stealing your joke." Like, other people asserting to me, "That is stealing your joke." And still I was like, yeah, I guess, but I still don't care. So now, because of this little feud, we're standing in the line together, and I'm like, "Oh, we're here. You know, we got 10 minutes." Like, why, Wes, that joke you do, the faggot retard faggot bit, you know that's dangerously close to my racist joke, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Huh, you think I would steal a joke from you?" And then it just it went off in my head. Because also, like a week before this, he came up to me. He came up to me in Blue Post and told me, I'm like, after I did the Simon Atkins set, he was like, "You're one of the funniest comics in Wilmington." And I'm like, motherfucker. So he does this, and I'm like, you're just saying that to get under my skin.
Yeah.
And so I let him have it. Like I think for a solid 120 seconds, just started unloading insults on him. I won't repeat them here, but I remember most of them. And I feel like his jaw was just kind of dropped listening to it, and then just he didn't really respond, and
that sucks.
We just kind of sat there and signed up, moved on. Then the weekend shows, I show up, and I'm sitting at the bar. Sierra's on this side of me, and then Wes is on this side of me, and I'm also in rare form, a little drunk.
Yeah.
Sierra gets up to use the bathroom, and I'm a little drunk, and I turn to Wes, because after talking all that shit to his face, I said some pretty harsh, mean shit. Yeah. And after saying all that stuff, I turned to him, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry for talking all that shit. You know, I apologize to you." And then he just so smugly turns to me and he goes, "I do not accept your apology." And I was just, and in my head, I was like, all right, that's the last olive branch. And I just kind of like smiled and kind of got excited about it. I was like, he doesn't know what's coming. he doesn't know what's about to happen.
Oh my gosh.
And so then the following Thursday at open mic, we all sign up. I sign up right after him. He goes up, does his set. It's Wes. Yeah. I go up. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cameron Smith." I go up there like, "Yeah, give it up for your host, Zach, everybody. Yeah, and give it up for Wes, who you just saw. Yeah, you guys know you're clapping for a literal child rapist." And I spent my whole 4 minutes just asserting, this is not a joke. Wes raped a child. It was actually it was a baby, to be specific. He taped popsicle sticks to his huge cock and jammed it into that little baby pussy. I mean, it's gross. Star News. Oh my God. We tried to get an article printed in Star News about it, but I guess Wes has friends in high places. They pulled it away. I'm not doing comedy.
Oh my God.
Dude, no one was laughing. The room was so uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone was mad at me. People were booing me.
Oh my gosh.
People were very upset. Wes was in the back talking shit. You haven't been funny in 10 years. And in my head, I'm like, you told me I'm the funniest comic in Wilmington. Fucking last week. Which one is it, dude?
Yeah.
So since then, it was like he's barely been able to look at me since then, and I wouldn't I would have a hard time forgiving me for that too.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the kind of person that likes confrontation, likes to work things out. I don't think he has any sort of ideology in his head to where he would be compelled to get along with someone he just doesn't like.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Is I feel like I was picking up on someone who doesn't like me for one reason or another. I wanted to know what it was about. I wanted to try to, not become best of friends, but become cool with each other.
Just enough
to be able to live in the
yeah.
same space without
enough to just be
this passive aggressive douchebaggery.
acquaintances. Yeah.
Right. So again, I would be more than happy to sit on a podcast with Wes and talk to him, or not record it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I would be more than happy to talk with him and be cool with him. But I
surprise guest, Wes.
Then I just put a gun in my mouth and shoot myself. Like, you called my bluff.
Yeah.
But
Wes, if you listen to this, I love you, buddy.
But yeah, and I think that caused a really big rift in the scene, because I think there were a lot of people in the scene that just saw me doing that set and thought it was me doing that for no reason or just didn't understand the whole story.
Context,
and even if they do know the whole story, that was just over the top.
Yeah.
And
but that's just another fucking Thursday for you, dude.
I mean, yeah, that it was a particularly cringy bomb for sure. It definitely was at the cost of the energy of the whole room.
Yeah.
But
in 3 minutes, that's hard to get back.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think that there was a lot of people in the scene that had become very friendly with Wes, and he's more fun. He parties with them and stuff. So like the Jackson, the Julia Desmonds and whatnot, like I can imagine being them like, yeah, Cameron's an asshole. Like I've never really liked him that much anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't know for sure that that's what these people's problems with me are, but it just seems, like
arbitrary.
Like I lost a good chunk of those people that I considered my friends in the wake of that moment. Yeah. And it's unfortunate, and I like those people, but shit happens.
It does
burn
happen.
Bridges naturally by being in the world and
being yourself. Oh, there's dudes I won't work with because I know their past, and it feels fucked up. I should probably talk to them, or probably lift the tape. I'm not gonna.
Well, I mean, what do you mean, like some scandals of them?
They've done things that.
Well, if we're not going to say
personally, if I was running a country, guys like that.
Okay, well, if we're not going to say who it is, can we say the severity? Like, did they rape someone?
Yes.
Okay.
They had.
Like full-on rape, or was it like a sexual assault where they made someone comfortable at a party?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Like that.
I'm just saying that
Bro,
shit goes around.
It was some Weinstein shit,
like,
dude.
Okay.
It was definitely some Weinstein.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And that shit, and they're pretty high up in the scene, and it's weird because this person has children too.
All right, just go ahead and say their full name, first and last name.
You can beep this out if you want to, or Okay. Well, you know who this person is, Arturo. Okay.
You can tell me when the camera stopped rolling.
Okay. Mr.
So I know exactly who to go work with immediately.
Yeah. You can if you want to. I think,
dude. Let me just go on record here and say I love to work with rapists and pedophiles.
Dude, I should have brought you over to fucking St. James, dude. Been the opening act.
Let
me
meet him.
Let me meet him.
I love the pedophile community.
NAMBLA? You want to work for NAMBLA? Man Love Boy Association, right?
I'd love to. I'd love to do some philanthropy for those guys.
Is it a nonprofit? Oh shit! No, where am I going with this? Yeah, no, I was molested as a kid. So
awesome.
Awesome? That's not the reaction you usually get from people. Respect?
Yeah.
What if you're like pound it? Like
what if my reaction was there? Give it to me again. Tell me one, like try to give me a sincere I was molested, and then I'll give you a different reaction.
All right. Yeah, Cameron, I was molested as a kid.
So what? You think you're fucking special, dude?
Newsflash, liberal, you're not. How long are we running for, man? Because
we're good. We're running an hour and a half.
okay, yeah, we could sit here and talk all day like idiots, but I want people to listen to your podcast and hear what you have to say because I think it's a very special platform. Your podcast, Creativity Theory.
Yeah.
If you want to plug anything before you.
Oh, are we ending?
Yeah, we're wrapping up.
Oh,
dude.
okay.
Yeah,
Is this like an hourly thing?
Yeah.
Or are you getting charged big money right now?
No, we're not getting charged big money. I just don't want to,
Okay.
We've been running for over an hour. It's rude at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
dude.
Well, I've enjoyed this. This was a
I
lot of
have
fun.
too, man.
Yeah, anytime. I know you do a podcast, right? Yeah.
I'm on a show.
Yeah, you just let me know when. Or I've got you on Instagram now. I can just let you know next. It's usually I have gigs, like photo gigs in Raleigh. Let you know. Yeah, Creativity Theory podcast. You can listen to it if you want. I don't think I'm a great podcaster.
It's pretty good. There's some clips that are,
Yeah, I'm not very funny on it. I'm more just struggling to have I'm struggling to host conversations.
Yeah.
And some of the recent episodes I've recorded, I feel like I've done a very bad job, and just I almost feel like I'm losing some steam and might need to take a little break and come back and hit it hard later on, or just start doing episodes like one-off when I feel like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's also just a lot of editing and distributing work the way I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Because you're editing this live, right, with the camera switches?
Man. Otherwise, it would never get out. We put out 4 a week.
Yeah. So I shoot with 3 cameras and then I go manually edit them afterwards.
I'm like, it looks very good, but I'm like, if he's doing 3 separate cameras and syncing it all out, that's such a bitch.
Yeah. Oh, it is. And I do 1 a week, and I cut the clips and make the thumbnails and cross distribute. It is.
The clips are great.
Do the reels with the fucking subtitles. I mean, yeah, it's too much work, and I barely have time to give to stand up and music and shit, and that's starting to piss me off and depress me. So that's why I feel like a slow down or a pause or an end to that podcast is probably in the near future.
It's summer coming up, dude. Fucking
I'll probably hit episode 30 and take a break. That's probably what's gonna happen,
dude.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me on. It was really good seeing you again, and I had a lot of fun talking to you.
Hell yeah.
Cutting it up.
All right. Thanks for being on Jew Anon, dude.
Thank you for having me. Jew. You should have said like Jew.